ATM here. Even though I'm in love, sometimes I get so afraid I'll say something so wrong. Oh, just to have something to say. America's Thinking Man, ATM, welcome. Today's discussion, panic. So what is panic by definition? Panic is a sudden, overwhelming fear, with or without cause, that produces hysterical and irrational behavior, and it often spreads quickly through the population. So what are some examples of panic in recent memory? 9/11, the Ebola outbreak, ISIS, and the most recent tragedy, some crazy German pilot flew a plane with 149 other people in it and flew it into a mountain and killed everybody. So what do these have to do with panic? Well, 9/11, that caused some hellacious panic. But the thing that I like to do when I'm surrounded by panic is to stop and think a little bit and just kind of take a deep breath and assess the situation. What was 9/11? Excuse my political incorrectness, but it was a group of ragheads from over in the Middle East that came over here to learn how to fly planes. Got on the planes, cut people, killed them with some box cutters, took over and flew two planes into the Twin Towers, one into the Pentagon and one blew up in a field in Pennsylvania. Killed over 3,000 people. It was a tragedy. But was it something that required a country of over 330 million people to panic? The government panicked. Why'd the government panic? Because people look to them as their protectors. So people panic naturally, the government did. And what happens when the government smells blood in the water, smells panic? Well, they use it as a time to take away some of your rights, to squeeze some of the blood out of you, okay? Like a boa constrictor. Every time you exhale, the boa tightens its grip around you until you cannot exhale or inhale anymore, and you're dead. So that's what the government does to the people when they panic. You had military in civilian airports walking around with loaded M16s. That pissed me off. I didn't like that. I didn't feel any safer. I actually flew out, September 11th was on a Tuesday. I flew out on a Friday, flew home. My family was upset. They thought I was crazy. Why did I do that? Why did I risk? They were panicky. Me, I got on a plane with a bunch of rednecks, figuring that I'll take my chances with these good old boys because they're not going to take any crap from any ragheads with some box cutters. So we had armed military at the airports. We had the police flagging people like crazy. Keep moving, keep moving. Could hardly stop to drop your person off that you were dropping off at the airport before they were blowing their whistles and ragging at you to get moving. Okay. Actually, it was kind of nice for a while because there were less people flying. It was nice and uncrowded. I enjoyed it. It didn't last too long. People started to breathe and realize that, things were sort of under control. And it wasn't like we were attacked by an armed military. It's not like the attack on Pearl Harbor when the Japanese fleet came over with, thousands of planes and dropped bombs all over and blew up our ships. I mean, these guys were just some terrorists that grabbed some planes and killed some people. And the one solution that worked, it wasn't TSA. It wasn't armed military. It wasn't police at the airport. It was locking the cabin door in the airplane so the terrorists couldn't get to the pilots. All right? Lock the door. Put a lock on it. Simple fix. But now what are we stuck with? Taking your shoes off, taking your belt off, taking everything out of your pockets, putting your little liquids in a bag, you know, nothing more than 3 ounces anymore. Well, think about it. The shoe bomber, okay? We take our shoes off. Somebody tried to use some kind of synthetic explosives that were liquefied, and now we have 3 ounces of liquids. You got to take them out, put them in a plastic bag, show them to they got to go through security, all that other crap. But the underwear bomber, why don't we have to take our underwear off? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Can you? If you can, let me know. All right. Enough about 9/11. Ebola. 1, 2, 3, I don't know, or maybe 4 cases. 4 cases of Ebola in a country of 330 million people. 4 cases. I think, well, one guy, I mean, the first guy came over there misdiagnosed. He actually had Ebola, you know, but he came from South Africa with it because he was exposed to it over there. So he was already infected. Couldn't do much for the guy. You know, he ended up dying, sadly enough. But after that, I mean, the media took this Ebola thing and ran with it for, I don't know, it might have been close to 2 months, and they scared the hell out of people. I mean, I even know intelligent people that were worried about the Ebola outbreak that never happened. Okay, if you remember H1N1, the flu a couple of years ago. Again, panic, okay? But you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. Not a thing. As a matter of fact, I went to my doctor here just recently, and she asked me, Mike, you want a flu shot? And I said, no, I don't get flu shots. And she says, well, you know, we kind of have to push them because it helps, you know, make some money, pay some bills and stuff like that. And I said, nah, you know, I really don't have any problems with the flu. And she told me then, and I didn't realize this, that they basically roll the dice on what types of flu are going to happen that year. They make the flu vaccine to try to prevent those types, but there's several hundred strains of flu. So if you get one of the strains that's not in the inoculation, guess what? You get the flu. And she said she doesn't know how many people of her patients come back and say, Doc, I got the flu. How is that possible? I got a flu shot. Well, got news for you. The flu shot doesn't work all the time. All right, what else we got? Oh, ISIS. You know, they're bad people. They are bad people, terrible people. We could have prevented all of this by just staying in Iraq. I know, status of forces agreement, all that crap. All President Mope at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue had to do was just tell the president of Iraq, sorry, bud, we're not leaving. You know, we didn't leave Germany, we're still there, right? We didn't leave Japan after World War II, we're still there. And they actually like us. And here we are, we have a military basis in the worst area probably in the world, or one of the worst areas, if not the worst, okay, the Middle East. And we decide we're going to pull out instead of keeping our people there, okay, so all the bad guys around town can go, you know, there's good guys in town. We better kind of watch what we're doing. Nah, we decide we're going to pull out because, you know, again, the Mope at 1600 Pennsylvania made a promise, I'm going to take all the troops out, you know, and other stuff. I mean, he's just stupid, but it's just my opinion. So now ISIS is running around killing people, raping women, marrying off 10-year-old girls. Okay? And we can go over there easily and eradicate that situation. But we don't want to do that. We would rather have the panic, okay? Because the panic helps the government take away more of our Right. And last but not least, the crazy German pilot who flew the plane into the Alps. People are starting to panic about that. It's on the news. It was on the news today. It's been 4 or 5 days since this happened, maybe close to a week. I don't remember how long ago it was. But one plane, one commercial flight out of, I guess, how many commercial flights around the world fly on a daily basis? I was shocked. Over 90,000 flights. So one crazy pilot, 90,000 flights, and we're already panicking. Why would we panic about something like that? Okay, and now the government's talking about, they're not proactive. Okay, after 9/11, lock the doors. Before 9/11, hey, let everybody in, no problem. Okay, we got a plane here. Some crazy guy could, they had hijackings and stuff in the past, but instead of locking the door and being smart about it, they leave the doors open and have access. But now we lock the door. And here in America, if the co-pilot or pilot has to use the head, one of the flight attendants goes in, so there's 2 people in the cockpit. Big deal. If there's one crazy guy in there and he wants to whack everybody on the plane, including himself, he's going to figure out a way of whacking the flight attendant. Or when the pilot comes back from using the head, he's going to figure out a way of doing that. There will be a way if the guy's crazy enough to do it. Believe me, even if you put 10 people in there, not a problem. But now the government's trying to figure out another way to make you pay more for a flight, and I'm not sure what that is yet. It hasn't come out, but they're talking about it. I heard it on the news today. So panic. Overwhelming fear, with or without cause, produces hysterical and irrational behavior. That's what panic is. People, don't panic. Okay, take a deep breath. Don't worry about terrorists. Don't worry about Ebola. Don't worry about the one pilot out of the 90-something thousand that fly on a daily basis. Nothing to panic about here. Okay? When something really happens where you need to panic, then I'll let you know. In the meantime, God bless America. America's thinking man here, ATM. Have a good one.